Hi traders, it's E from MarketWizards.com and eMiniWizard.com. It's just before 2 o'clock-ish on Thursday, reminding traders to use risk capital you can afford to lose. And a reminder, we do have a trading room opening up next week. Anybody wants to join us, love to have you there. We've got some sharp traders in that room, and I'm sure you can learn from Zeke and the rest of them, as well as some of the things I've learned over the years. All right, I think this is the most important chart right now that I'm looking at, and that's the weekly chart, and we can see we're tackling the middle. So there's a do or die time really for the longs to try to defend here. We've got the end of the month. Still got another day in the week. Very important reversal that happened last night. We took out the previous day's high, but couldn't sustain it. And then we came down this morning, and I noticed a couple of rotations. Thought that we could get sub 2,900, and how much below it, who knows? But primary target was trying to get to that 92 to 82 zone, kind of bracket this area. And so the battle is still going to go on this afternoon. And all I notice here is a tail below it. Take a look at this low. This was the low that I had mentioned. This is like a hidden pivot here, as Zeke would call it. And you have to remember these launch areas. So these traders are still okay, but obviously starting to get a little bit nervous now about their position. Let's take a look at a couple more. Got the predictive chart, the OTF chart. We stalled ahead of this. This was our resistance, our next resistance, top of this box, 68.75. We'd figured 68 to 72 resistance. Held nicely, came back, and then this was one of the reasons why I wanted to keep my eye on that 30 area today. Once we got under this, then we're opening up this box, and then obviously this 91 area, very important basis, this system. So for now, that 28.12.5 area that we had talked about earlier this week as important support, maybe still in the 2,700 to 2,900, took out the 29s, and so we've really got this push north side, but now it remains to be seen. With the beginning of the month coming, can we get any new attack on this, and do we get retest failure or keep coming south side? So for now, that 28.12.5, big pivot. Got to watch that going forward. Monster month. You can also see this 98 area that's bracketing and starting to come down into this box. This is a huge, huge month. And there should be some profit taking, call it position squaring, as we approach the end of the month. And then usually the last to leave lose. They usually will hang in there until morning, and then as profits start to evaporate, traders will take their profits. So there's a monthly squaring. At least that's the way I'm looking at it. And you can see where we bounced. I'd figured if the longs got up above the 02, 03, maybe they could get to the 5s, but I thought that would be the resistance. And obviously, once we bump into that, this is the lunch contra. I'm also looking at the prior day's range, and this is all on the auction territory. So that's what I'm viewing us doing right now. So got the gap below us here, obviously, and we got one above us. So the market's done that a lot this year. And obviously this 88 area, pretty important. So this is usually where we suggest tighten up stops as you get down to this lower level, and then good fortune, anything below here. And here are the angels and demons, and obviously this is a an RTH, meaning the regular trading hours, angels and demons. And actually this is something that talked about Kevin Haggerty earlier. This is borrowing from his strategy, his signal bar strategy. I've added a couple twists, currently using 3-minute bars. Because of the volatility we've had, I've found that works just as well. And I like to plot the middle, and I find that very significant. You'll see this turn a lot on these locations. So just pass along a few of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. Encourage you to come in and take a look at some of the things we do. This is what we do all day long. Zoom for a couple of hours, and then in the chat room, we'll post these ideas and post charts and try to help traders get their feet on the ground and learn a little something. And if you don't ask and you don't um, learn from people who have been there and done that, you're always going to remain ignorant. So we encourage you to ask your questions. 10-minute Globex chart looks good. We broke this line right here. So once we break the rain line, we look to see can it get back above it or not. If not, that's resistance. And you can see how we're still pressing down. I can change these. We started out with like a 30-minute chart. Let me change this a couple of times. Here's a 30. You can see where we busted the blue line. That's our slope line. That's been working pretty good. Got busted. And so this is the chart that we like today, showing our potential support targets down here and obviously our resistance up here and trading that range. So can we bust the low? Hard to tell. Got a couple of hours left. Afternoon session should test it one more time, and if not, then we should bounce. Note that this is not a terribly bearish formation because the rain line's below us, and all this is up above us. So that tends to moderate it. When everything gets going underneath all of the lines, then it's a lot more bearish. Let's take a look at one more chart. And that's our 5RTH, our primary chart. Note how came down towards the rain line. We bounced up, couldn't get above the blue line, took out the low, bounced for the contra, still below the blue line. And because we're still, all of these are starting to morph together here. You can see how it worked, obviously, a couple of days ago. But now we're starting to rotate a little bit, but we're still above that. So until we really get these, and I'm not a crossover trader, but till we get these below here and staying under that, then this is still much more neutral. So I'm still thinking you got to be careful this afternoon, just trying to get too cute, trying to get too much south side. And one last look, perhaps at a powered chart. Note that we did that undercut low. We talked about this 2-year chart. Did the undercut. We bounced back, very strong bounce. And this would reflect my numbers for last year's range. Will not include this bit, but that just shows the undershoot over here, undercut low we call it, and then the bounce. Note how we've almost got the 60 back already, back in here. So currently these are targets that still can be achieved, and right now we're fighting in this box. Everything we do is the same. We look at step by step. So right now I think that's the range that needs to be resolved till we take out this low right in here, close the gap and get down here and penetrate back here. We still don't know. All we know is we've had a very strong bounce. We know next resistance box and so on. So for now, I think this chart needs to be resolved in this box right here. And one last chart. And this is the 4-year chart. We've shown this before. Note how we've held the first level. We've bounced, had a pretty strong bounce, obviously. Not been able to get up here to this level yet. A lot of people talking about 3,000 like it's just going to come shooting out the top. Nobody knows. All we know for now is we've had a very strong bounce, and I'm watching obviously this level right in here where we've attacked today, and no idea where we close. Nobody does really. But step by step, we're going to keep our eye obviously on this box and this box. Those are the two boxes that need to be watching. And if you like the pivot system, then you really need to watch the middle pivot. Okay, so this will give us some clues, this 84. Thanks for watching. Hope I've given some of you newer traders a few ideas, and be well. Trade well, everybody.